Welcome to the shooting show. This week we're back in Africa hunting a trophy impala ram with Larno Rens from Monapula Safaris, plus Wes Stanton reviews a great value clay gun from Webley and Scott. At long last, we're back in Africa, hunting in a scenic area not far from Jeffreys Bay in the Eastern Cape. We'll be contending with mountainous terrain and thick bushveld, but we're not here to look at the scenery. This is a plains game hunt with Larno Rens as the PH and Merkel's Anke Sauerteig behind the rifle. Preparations are already well underway.
It is my first time in South Africa and also my first safari. This is a really nice experience because it is a country which is far away from Germany, and I think it is for every hunter in Germany a dream to go to South Africa for a safari. I expected more a flat area, but it was really high mountains and it was not so easy to stalk because there are a lot of stones and trees and a lot of stuff, and it was sometimes really hard work to come closer to the game.
Stalking the entirety of this concession on foot would take weeks. We opt for a vehicular approach to enable us to spy the game and determine the best route of approach. But with 2,000 hectares in this area and more than a few mountains or kopjes to negotiate, even this can prove quite a challenge.
Because the rain is so tough and difficult to reach at all the places. I mean, there's not accessible roads to all the valleys and to all the hills. One option is going by vehicle to locate your animal, but you only see approximately half of what there is to see. And the other option is by going by foot, which is, I mean, you've seen the terrain, it's huge, you know, it's going to take you days to locate the animals by walking. The areas that we've went to wasn't easy hunting areas, and we did a lot of walking. Up this valley, right on top of the valley. Yeah, but you see, you can't go in very far with a vehicle here.
Okay.
That's why I said it's better to get up and then we can go down again.
The morning's recce has revealed little more than a herd of eland. There's a bull in the herd that's on the shooting list, but Anke is a first-timer in Africa and wants to start on something smaller. With the day reaching its full heat, we opt to withdraw and wait for another opportunity in the late afternoon. In the last couple of hours of shooting light, we're out once more. The tracking team has tipped us off that a herd of impala is on the move, and there's an old ram among them that would be perfect for Anke to take. We quickly close in on their position and disembark the vehicle for a foot stalk. By the time we get close, the impala have moved over the ridge and out of sight, but there's a suitable location just ahead from where we should be able to spy their position. If we're lucky, they'll be waiting just below. Stalking carefully into the chosen spot, we come across the selected ram just 100 yards away. It's an ideal shooting opportunity, but the rest of the herd is with him, and they could easily be spooked by our presence. Anke gets into position behind the Merkel helix and waits for her chance.
Right, you see there he's coming out behind the bush, okay? There he's lifting his head, Anke.
The ram is broadside and we just need to wait for it to stop with its body clear of the bush. This might be Anke's first safari, but she's calm and confident behind the rifle and knows just when to take the shot.
Got him. Keep an eye on him here. You've got him, yeah.
The ram takes the bullet and runs on, but the shot looked good. Watching through his trusted pair of Swarovski SLCs, Larno is sure the shot was spot on the heart. And seconds later he sees the ram drop just over the ridge.
He's down. Well done.
It's a successful stalk and a clean shot, but the terrain is steep here and carcass extraction could be tricky. But as the sun begins to drop in the sky, we soon catch up with the fallen impala ram.
8, 9 years. Well done, Anke.
Weidman's dank.
And
thank you.
My pleasure and good shooting. Very nice old trophy impala ram. Well done.
The final job is to bring the carcass back to the bakkie. Then Anke can get ready for her busiest trophy photo session she has ever experienced from the African bush paparazzi.
Yeah, in the end we saw a group of impalas and we stalked to come closer to the game. I think it was about 100 meters, then I can shot one, and it was a really good one, around 8 years old, and so my first animal in South Africa. I'm so proud of this. Yeah, I shot on the impala and I was sure that I hit him, but he was running away around 80 meters, but we found him, and yeah, we are really happy.
It's not always about the size of the animal that gives you the trophy, but the story it has to tell, you know. So you've worked hard for it and to get into a suitable position, and that's something that you can take back home, you know, that's inside of you, that's in your heart, and I believe that's the real trophy of Africa to take with you, the experience.
All too soon the sun is in its dying moments and brings to an end a successful first day on safari. Anke there, opening up her African account with a fine impala ram. And now, the shooting show news.
This is the shooting show news. Clay Shooting magazine has announced a new venue for the British Schools and Young Shots Championship in 2015. West Midlands Shooting Ground in Shropshire will set 2 courses of 50 targets and 132 bird layout on Saturday the 25th of April next year. The competition traditionally sees some of the best Colt and junior shooters from across the country gather in 2 different age groups to determine the best individual and school. Entry and prize information will be announced at a later date. Stay tuned to the Clay Shooting magazine website for details. Blaze Publishing has launched a new digital magazine called iShoot. Packed with digital and interactive content, the magazine will boast written and video features about all aspects of shooting. Contributors include Peter Carr, Wes Stanton, Jeff Garrett, James Marchington, Byron Pace and many more of the country's best shots. The first issue is available from www.ishootmag.com. Minutes of the latest meeting of the Lead Ammunition Group indicate that the Code of Good Shooting Practice may be changed so it recommends the use of non-lead shot. Much of the discussion at the meeting on the 25th of June centred on the issue of mitigation, or how to minimise lead's effect on the environment and encourage compliance with existing regulations. The group speculated that compliance could be improved and heard that shooting organisations were planning a series of articles in the shooting press to help bring this about. Countryside Alliance chairman Barney White-Spunner undertook to recommend changes to shooting's code of practice to make direct and specific recommendations on lead alternatives. Rural crime is at near record levels in the UK and cost the economy £44.5 million last year. The NFU Mutual Rural Crime Survey also reports that livestock theft is up 25%, with Eastern England and Northern Ireland the worst affected areas. Sarah Lee, head of policy for the Countryside Alliance, said crime affects all of us, whether we live in the town or rural areas. But as these figures show, thieves think of the countryside as easy pickings. It is very important that police and crime commissioners take the issue of rural crime seriously. If you want to buy or sell shooting equipment online, gunbid.co.uk is well worth a look. Created by military police officer Captain Tom Bartle, the website enables individuals and businesses to create their own customised online store. Goods can either be sold and purchased at a set price, at auction, or by making an offer, with sellers responsible for making sure that transactions comply with laws concerning face-to-face sales and licensing where applicable. The business has even promised to donate 5% of its takings to Armed Forces charity Help for Heroes. That was the Shooting Show News.
Hi, I'm Wes Stanton. I'm editor of Clay Shooting magazine, and today I'm at Edgehill Shooting Ground reviewing the Webley and Scott 912 multi-choke sporter. Pull! Pull! Webley and Scott's a company that is just over 220 years old, so it's been around gun making a pretty long time. For much of that time they were based not 40 miles from here in Birmingham. Nowadays a lot of the production is, all the production is overseas, mostly in Turkey, but the fundamental ethos of the brand remains the same. Producing good guns to a price towards the budget or mid-range of the spectrum, but basically producing guns that are intended to be workhorses rather than simply nice to look at. Pull! So, what are my first impressions on shooting this? Well, it's a 30-inch gun, multi-choked, as I said before. Today I've been shooting 1/4 choke. The action is minimalistic compared to some of the more ornate engravings you find out there nowadays, but quite often it's the prettiest girls that don't wear any makeup. So the black and purposeful action aside, looking at the woodwork, this is absolutely slap bang in the middle of the quality range. It's certainly not grade 1, which is devoid of any grain, but nor is it grade 5 at the exquisite end. It's grade 2.5, but it would certainly benefit from a little polishing and rubbing with some oil over a period of time, because it's really not that bad at all. What I do particularly like about the woodwork offering on this is the checkering. On some cheap guns, the checkering almost looks hand pressed on, but this is actually really quite well done, and it serves its intended purpose of helping maintain the grip when you're in the middle of taking a shot. It's pretty good. It's some of the best I've seen on a budget gun. Trigger pulls on this are a little heavier than I'd like. They're just over 5 pounds, and I prefer something with it 3.5 or 4, but they're very crisp nonetheless, and would be pretty easy to get used to. Perhaps one of the most interesting parts of this is the philosophy behind the barrels. Now, today the trend with gun makers is to overbore the barrels, so go slightly wider than traditional 12 gauge. These are 18.4mm, which is a fraction narrower than the traditional 12 gauge bore. Now, there is some evidence to suggest that when you're shooting fibre wads, a narrower bore makes it more efficient, and Richard Atkins, who tested this gun for Clay Shooting magazine, apparently shot his best score for quite some time using fibre wads at his local club. And whether we like it or not, although top competition gun makers can suggest we have overboard barrels to reduce recoil, there's an awful lot of people out there, particularly people who are using guns at this price point, who are shooting at local club where you have to shoot fibre wadded cartridges. So I do see that as a plus for this gun. I've shot a few sporting targets here at Edgehill Shooting Ground this afternoon. I've shot some bolting rabbits and some horrible fast right to left rising things. This gun has picked them out quite nicely. It's a 30-inch, so it's the average length of barrel that people like to shoot nowadays, which is a plus. You can also get it in 32-inch barrel lengths if you want something that'll point out distant targets. I was shooting with some Ely Ambers, the 24-gram shells, and the perceived recoil on this was very easy to handle, in that helped by, of course, the gun's weight at 3 ounces off 8 pounds. Now, I'm in the privileged position at Blaze Publishing to have an awful lot of guns come through my hands to test, and you have to be terribly careful if somebody says, here's a gun, test it, this is the price point, that you don't make assumptions about what you're going to get. I mean, here we have a gun with reasonable wood, nice action, nice jewelled barrel flats, ventilated rib, multi-chokes, and I thought rather than ask Highland Outdoors what price they're putting this out at, I thought I'd guess. I would have guessed at something in the region of about £1,200 to £1,400, which is a big margin for error on my part. And I was really quite surprised when I learned that this gun is actually sub £800. I think there's a general thought that a gun for sub £800, you know, there's an awful lot of corners cut and you're not going to get something that will last. I think this gun, for somebody coming into clay shooting as a first gun, or even somebody who just goes occasionally, represents really good value for money. I was surprised when I found out it was only just under £800, and if I were in the market for a budget competition gun, I'd definitely look at something like this.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. This has been The Shooting Show.